All right, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, and let us give charity today. I think we've been a little bit maybe how do we call it? Um, Lax in our obligation to give charity. Let's do it again. Here we go. Ready? Here's a charity box. Here's the charity. Charity saves from all the bad things in the world. We do. The Iranians are just, I guess they're desperately shooting, rockets all over Israel. So every day there's like two or three. Yesterday we had one in the middle of the class. I think, did you hear it? Anyway, there's these air raid warnings. So you have to leave everything and run. And the main problem is that it wrecks your sleep up in the nighttime. And there's also been people that have been killed. I mean, commensurate to the number of missiles that they've shot. I think each one of those missiles could, God forbid, who knows, kill hundreds, who knows, thousands, nothing. And God does the amazing miracles. But there still have been, like 11 people or something have been killed, and there's been a lot of people that have been injured. All right, my friends, let's go. What can we do? You can sort of understand why the spies did not want to come into the land of Israel. Just like today, the land of Israel, says the Lubavitcher Rebbe, is the safest place for a Jew to live in the world, which that is totally, apparently the exact diametric opposite of the facts. I mean, there's no place in the world where rockets are intentionally shot at Jews, and especially not, a number of rockets, and not, like 10 rockets or 100 rockets. And here, since October 7th, have been shot. I saw different numbers, but they all revolve around 30,000 rockets. Some say it's approaching 30,000. Some people say it's 32,000 rockets. However, if it is, it's more than 15. That's for sure. If they would run one rocket, there's no place in the world that they shoot rockets at Jews purposely. Organized rock throwing at Jews. Once in a while, a maniac throws a rock or something at some Jews. That somebody threw a brick through a window. I saw in what is it, in the soldier zone, they threw a brick through a window because it was a Jewish shop, a brick through a window. One Meshuggah. Here we have whole nation shoots rockets purposely at the Jews, and no one says anything. The United Nations has absolutely nothing to say, and the world is saying, well, it's just sort of par for the course. You've been lucky they didn't do it all the time. And so we see that our biggest friend is God, and not just regular God. There's a lot of gods. A lot of people worship also the God of Israel, that creates the world and cares about every detail of the world, of everyone. So that's pretty good. Nevertheless, you can sort of understand why the Jewish people did not want to come into the land of Israel back then, 3,300 whatever years ago, because it's a scary place. It's a scary place to live, right? Imagine having an advertisement: come to Israel, rockets are shot at you every day. Run with all of your Jewish friends to the bomb shelters, enjoy camaraderie, right? Locked up in the bomb shelter for 2 hours, 3 hours every day. Who's going to come to a place like that? No one's going to come. Now I got all the schools are closed. Anyway, the land of Israel is a place where God watches it all the time. So if you haven't got any connection with God, then don't come. But the fact is, every Jew does have a connection with God. Every Jew does have. It's not logical. It makes no sense. It's beyond being even emotional. It's just an essential connection somehow or other with God. And it could be that, there's all sorts of apparently ulterior motives for coming here, and nationalistic reasons and etc. But essentially it is because Jews have a connection with God, and this is God's country. The whole world belongs to God, but God only reveals it here, right? The Eiffel Tower or the whatever it is, the Empire State Building, are very impressive buildings, but they're not godly. The Holy Temple is a godly place, even though it might not be so impressive. Okay, so here it says that we learned yesterday that the spies, that the scouts that Moses sent in, they came back and convinced the people. They told the people what they wanted to hear. What did they want to hear? The people wanted to hear the land of Israel is fraught with difficulties, spiritual and physical. The physical difficulties are you're going to have to go in and plant and work hard, and who knows if you're going to succeed or not. And there's all these enemies over there, the big enemies. And spiritual, they said, listen, in the land of here, in the desert, we can appreciate things. We can appreciate things. We can appreciate godliness. We can appreciate the miracles. God is feeding us. God is protecting us. God is giving us what to drink. God is leading us. There's no confusion over here. And in the land of Israel, we're not going to have all this spirituality. It's not going to be revealed. All we're going to have over there is the commandments. And the commandments are a revelation of the essence of God in this physical world. And like something like it was at Mount Sinai. You just mention Mount Sinai to everybody, and everybody says, no, we don't want that again. Even when there was Mount Sinai, they didn't want it. They pled with this. Look over there and see the stories of the giving of the Torah near the beginning of the book of Exodus, and also near the beginning of the book of Deuteronomy. Moses repeats it. The Jewish people said, we can't receive the Torah. It's too much. You go up and get it, Moses. So they didn't want to repeat that again with the commandments. In fact, the commandments seem to be in a lot of ways even higher than the Torah, the revelation of godliness in the world. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Let's make this bigger. All right. Okay, now also we have to realize we're dealing with a topic over here, which has become, in the Chassidut, it's a very major topic. And without Chassidut, it's a very, very minor, if real topic. Perhaps imaginary, and that is the revelation of God in the world. The revelation of God in the world. Chassidut, that's makes this the main issue in reality and the main issue in Judaism. That's why Judaism is so important, because it's going to tell everybody what reality is. What is reality? Revealing God in this world, in every detail of the world. That's what Moshiach is going to do. That's the job of Moshiach. That's the job of Moshiach. That all these other religions have derailed Moshiach. Moshiach is supposed to be only for this world. Moshiach is not a figure that takes you into heaven, that saves you and gets you into the heaven, saves you from hell. That is not what Moshiach does at all. That's not Moshiach's job. Moshiach's whole job is only to reveal godliness in the world. As the Maimonides brings, he brings from Isaiah, the world will be filled with the awareness of God like water fills the ocean. And that is the main topic of what Chassidut is: how to reveal God, how to feel God, what do we do when God is not revealed? That's exile. Exile is that when God is not revealed. You believe in God. You have certain feelings of God. You can appreciate God. You can love God, right? But that takes a tremendous effort, because you don't even know what it means to reveal God. When they had the Holy Temple, people knew what it meant. They went to the Holy Temple. They felt, like we talked about this before. Essentially, it means you feel God, means you feel that I am being created. The whole world is an amazing creation. God wants the world to be exactly the way it is, with just one detail to pull the curtain, reveal that there's a creator that's creating it. A puppeteer. A puppeteer is a bad word, because the puppets don't have any free will. We do have free will. Okay, ready? Let's go. Here it goes. So it says, let's see, where did we get up to yet? Yesterday there was the. Here we go. Okay, so So therefore, the Jewish people did not want to come into the land of Israel. They wanted to stay in the desert where God was revealed, but it really wasn't revealed. In the desert, God was revealed in a spiritual way, not the essence of God. Let's put it in another way. In the desert, the Jewish people were removed from the world. They were removed from, it was sort of almost like a near-death experience or a death experience, whatever. But when a person dies, so he doesn't feel his body so much, but the soul still exists. The soul is eternal. So when a person dies, so his connection is not with his body. Suddenly he realizes that his body was tricking him. We were being tricked by our body. And that the body wasn't a good thing, and that being spiritual was a good is a good thing. And therefore, when they were in the desert, they were removed from the spiritual. But the fact of the matter is the body is a very, very good thing. Because the body is in the physical world, and God wants the physical world, and God wants us to be revealed there. So the Jewish people and all the scouts that Moses sent in, they convinced the Jewish people, they told the Jewish people what they wanted to hear. Here in the desert, we've got heaven on earth. And the fact that they did have heaven, but it wasn't on earth. So therefore, they didn't really have what God wanted. The desert, it was like an incubator, living in an incubator state, right? There was no problems, no worries. You were protected all the time. You were fed automatically. You were given to drink automatically. Everything was clean automatically, like living in an incubator. They said, let's stay in the incubator. And the Jewish people said, yeah, that's what we want. Stay in the incubator. Oh, but Joshua and Kalev, Omru said, Tova, or it's Ma'od Ma'od, the land of Israel is very, very good. In short, in the desert, the Jewish people could love God. The Jewish people could fear God. The Jewish people were aware of God. And the Jewish people, the mind ruled over the emotions. The emotions didn't give them so much problem. The world gave them no problems whatsoever. Until they got up to the land of Israel. Then the world started giving them problems. Right? We don't want to go in. We're not going to do what God wants. We'll do it later. We're not doing, don't want it. We'll go into the land of Israel later, but let's take it easy. We're not going in now. The land of Israel is a scary place. Oh, but Joshua and Kalev, they said, Tova or it's Ma'od Ma'od, the land of Israel is very, very good. Sha'al Yadei, Eretz Israel, by means of the physical land of Israel, not the spiritual land of Israel like they had in the desert. The land of Israel is a place where God is revealed, right? But the spiritual land of Israel, when they were in the desert, God was revealed, but only on a spiritual level. They had to be removed from the world. It said they know to be in the world and reveal God is a totally different revelation of God. That's by means of the commandments, the physical man commandments. By the physical Israel, there was actual physical commandments. Yom Shach will be drawn down, or Ein Sof, the infinite light of God, me'od, very much, beligvu, without any limit, me'od, very, very much, almin stimim ba'almin dat galim, not in revealed, I'm sorry, godliness, not how it is in the revealed worlds or even in the concealed worlds. That's what it means, me'od, very much, 2 times good. Almin stimim ba'almin idgalim, the revealed creations of God and all the concealed creations of God, they will reveal in Israel God himself, the creator. Why God's creating this whole weird business of the world with all of its details. Why? Because really, Irker Kavanato, the main intention of God in creating the world. Now, again, to remind everybody, God began creating the world 5,785 years ago. Before that, there was no time. There was no time. Time only began 5,785 years ago. There was no time, there was no being, there was no existence, there was only godliness. What that means, we have absolutely no idea. It's called nothing. Something ex nihilo, something from nothing. Why did God do it? Why did God create the world? Why? God wanted that we should reveal him in this world, Davka. He wanted there to be such a thing as called man, and man would be able to choose to serve God. That's what God wanted. We cannot possibly comprehend why this is, but if there was no man, there would be no one even asking the question. There would be no question why. There would be no askers. So the Rebbe is coming to explain to us and to reveal that's what Jewish people are coming to explain to us, why God is creating the world, to make life truly meaningful, but not on any terms that we have known up to now. Well, maybe a little bit. Terms that we have known up to now. Oh, we got someone. One second. Excuse me 1 second. Someone is here. Here we go. Sorry, I delayed and enter. I didn't see you were entering. Okay. That's what God wants, that he should be revealed in this physical world. God wants there to be a physical world. Called that it should be revealed to everyone. The revelation should be below like it is above. Even more, with more power and more energy. This is light that comes from the darkness. Because really, anything that is in a higher level can be revealed lower, with more power. Two people in the room. 1 second, excuse me. This is all, you didn't get in. Admit, there you go. Okay, should be in. 1 minute. I'm trying to admit Miriam Gibor to the, there it goes. Good, it worked. Good, yes. We have another Miriam Gibor. Is there another Miriam Gibor? There's only one Miriam Gibor. Here I have two Miriam Gibors. Is there someone else called Miriam Gibor, or an imposter, or a, no, that's it. Miriam Gibor. Good. Huh? Yes. All right. So God wants to be revealed in the physical world. Listen, maybe I'll give you an example. I don't know if this is a good example, but I'm going to give it the example anyway. Let's say there's people who appreciate music. Was revealed to me just recently that real like pianists or musicians, that they can look over a piece and they can hear the music before it's actually played. In other words, they look over a piece and they look over the music, like reading a book quietly. You read a book quietly, you can hear the words, but the main thing in reading a book is understanding. And the main thing in music is to actually hear it, right? So not exactly right. There's people who are big geniuses, like Beethoven wrote his biggest symphony when he was totally deaf. They say the Ninth Symphony, so totally deaf. So they can hear the music in their heads, right? So a person might think, listen, when you hear the music in your head, you can't make any mistakes. There's no room for error. You just see the pure, what the composer created. There it is, purely, right? Purely. But if you put it, let's say, someone starts to play the piano, then you can make mistakes. It could come out bad. Stop playing. That's not at all whatever that composer intended. That's terrible. That's awful. I heard other people play it. So playing the actual physical piano is not such a good thing as just seeing the music, understanding the music, right? That's what you might think, but that's not so. The whole essence of the music, as beautiful and as difficult as it is actually hearing it played on this physical instrument, which the instrument really hasn't got anything to do with music. It's just a bunch of metal and wood and things like that. Metal and wood are all over the place. All the cars are made of metal, right? And wood, you have tables and chairs are made of wood. There's no music that comes from them. But when you make the wood in a proper way, and you make the wires and things like that, then you put them all together and you attach them all together with all of a sudden you come, and somebody who knows how to play comes out amazing music, right? People play that again. That's what it is. Right? But a normal person might say, listen, it takes a long time to practice and learn piano, and then maybe it won't come out good. The same thing is with the Jewish people. This is a thing I'm just making up. I don't know if it's good. You can unmake it also. The Jewish people in the desert, that was like the music. They were experts in reading the music. It was good enough. And coming to the land of Israel, that was like actually playing the music on physical instruments. It's a whole different level. It's a whole different level of beauty, a whole different level. Okay, anyway, take it for what it's worth. I'm just trying to explain what I understand of this business, because the Rebbe is talking about revealing God. And it's not the same thing as revealing music, but it's something like it, because you have to appreciate it. It's a sense, but music, of course, is just a detail of creation. And here we're talking about revealing the Creator in every detail of the creation. Why God wants us to have free will, why He wants us to be in this physical world. Because really, Kalshu Madriga Yota, because whatever is the highest, it has the power to be revealed in the lowest. Where do we see this? Like the example that I just gave about the piano. Here's a better example. Yoter say, for instance, mibar seichel, a genius, a person that's a genius, that he can't reveal his wisdom with speech, only by making a certain movement. Then he can reveal, like the rabbis say, right? Let's say, for instance, Albert Einstein or somebody, he explains something to everybody, and then he explains it very well, and finally in the end he goes, like, that movement means this. The fact is, I don't really understand it myself. It's just, I'm just doing my best. So one little movement can sometimes show the Od Mashal. Another example is Michotam Shalev. That's where we ended yesterday. Mod Mashal Michotam Shalev and Tov, a seal, letters which are written on a diamond. Bahir. That the diamond is so brilliant, Einam Nikarim, you can't see any letters which are carved out into it. When are the letters revealed? Al Shaiva. If you press let's say you have a signet ring, and the signet ring is a big diamond, and you carved whatever is some your letters, your initials on the diamond, right? Diamond TB. It's written T for Tuvia. It's written T, right? You look at the diamond, you can't see it. It's just the diamond is too brilliant. When you press it into wax or to some dull substance, then dabka begilu la'ayin, you can see what the letter was. So it's the same thing also, godliness. The highest godliness cannot really be revealed in the spiritual world. The spiritual worlds are like a diamond. Essence of godliness can only be revealed in this physical low world. That's what it says. If that's what it says. And the end of this week's Torah portion is the commandment of tzitzit. And it says, you will see it. You will see, it says the blue string you will see, or you will see it. Od also means the mitzvah, the commandment. You will see it, and you will remember all the commandments of God. How? By means of just a deed. This looking at, here it says, just looking at the 32 strands, physical strands of the tzitzit. Here, see tzitzit, you have these, right? You have these physical strands of the tzitzit. By looking at them, you come to remember, Yavo Mizeh will come to remember all the commandments of God. The commandments of God are so high, how could they be hinted at such a low thing like little strings of wool? The fisha talit, because the talit is what's called the talit. That's the talit, is the garment. The garment's the talit. The talit, who or makif, is a surrounding light of godliness. And the tzitzit, that they are the 32 strands, that represents the 32 paths of wisdom which are drawn down from the surrounding light of God. Surrounding light of God means God's incomprehensible existence. God's incomprehensible, is it such a word? Comprehensible, anyway, reality. It doesn't sound right, but I think it is incomprehensible. Anyway, God's incomprehensible reality, that from it comes all being. We have no idea what that means. God exists before the world. What does it mean? That's the surrounding aspect of God. And but from God, that comes all of the details of the world, all the trees and all the bees and all the rocks and all the people and all things, all these little weird details. Everything is being created by God all the time. It says that's represented by the 32 paths of wisdom, how God, so to speak, makes himself divisible. The E.F. Sharon, it is impossible that it could be hinted at only at some adid. Hepech machshava, you can't understand it. Only by looking at the actual tzitzit can you have a little feeling, a little understanding, the opposite, and this is the opposite of what the spies thought. In a simple way, the spies thought that Judaism was orderly, a religion. You use your mind. It arouses the emotions. You understand the Torah, right? It's all in your mind. You understand everything. Everything is perfect. You can explain it in speech and everything. It doesn't have to come into actual deed. Doesn't have to come into actual. There's nothing above understanding, so to speak. Normative Judaism, normative religious Judaism. And Moshe Rabbeinu, but Moses, that he was the level of Dordeya. He was among those who actually were in Mount Sinai. I mean, all the Jews were coming to Israel. They weren't at Mount Sinai. All those people died. All the people that were in Mount Sinai, right? They all died. That was the punishment. 40 years they wandered in the desert, so that everyone was 20 and up. They all passed away, and the people that were alive were either below 20 when there was at Mount Sinai, or they hadn't been born yet. So Moses, he was from a tremendously high level. Lo haya lo be'efsharut, he could not come to the land of Israel. Moses couldn't come. He was too high to come into the land of Israel. Nevertheless, Moses wanted to come to the land of Israel. Tav Kuf Tet Vav Tefilot. 515 prayers. Moses prayed 515 prayers, the number of Etchanan. That's where the what is it? The second chapter of in the book of Deuteronomy. That's where the whole thing of the Torah is repeated. The 10 Commandments are repeated. He prayed. He wanted to come to the land of Israel because this is the whole intention. Nevertheless, Moses did not merit to come into the land of Israel, which that's a topic for another time. And Joshua, he was the one that brought the Jews into Israel because Joshua was a lower level of godliness. Now, if the Jewish people had not sinned, if they would have agreed to go in, then Moses would not, they wouldn't have to wander, and Moses would have gone in with them to the land of Israel. They would have a higher revelation of godliness in Israel. As it is when Joshua, they wouldn't have had to fight their battles even. It says that there was this weird hornet or something that spit poison at tremendous distances, and it blinded and whatever it is, emasculated the enemy. So that anyway, they wouldn't have had to fight. If they would have gone with Moses, he would have built the temple, and that would have been it. God would have been revealed over the whole world, and that it. But the Jewish people aren't so predictable. What are you going to do? So they wandered around in the desert for 40 years. When they finally came, God said, "That's it. You can't come in, Moses. You struck the rock. You can't go." If they wouldn't have wandered in the desert, first of all, Moses wouldn't have struck the rock. They only struck the rock because they wandered around so long. They got thirsty. So Moses had to strike the rock. Okay. This is a commentary. Let's go from the third Rebbe of Chabad. Let's see if we can do this. A little bit Kabbalistic, but I think we can do it. Should we do it? Zeu, that's what it is, that the land of Israel is Eretz Shiva Amamim. The land of Israel is the land of the 7 nations. Now, God promised to Abraham that he was going to give to him and to his offspring the land which was inhabited by 10 nations. 10 nations. You can look over there in Lech Lecha. In Lech Lecha, it says, I'm going to give you the land of 10 nations. Where does it say that? Anyway, you'll look it up and you'll see it. God promised Abraham, I'm going to give you 10 nations. Should I find it? Should I look for it? I saw it. 1 second. Anyway, God did definitely not come across with his promise up to now. Up to now. And up to now, he did not come across with his promise. He came. We only got 7 nations. Joshua only got 7 nations. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Oh, here it is. No. Okay. He tells Abraham that he's going to go into exile. Here we go. It is in, you can look this up. It's in Genesis chapter 15. Genesis chapter 15. Sentence 18. On 18, 19, 20, 21. Right? On that day, God made a covenant with Abraham, said to your seed, I will give you this land from the river of Egypt, the Nile River, until the big river, the Nar Parat. I'm going to give you the Keni, the Kenizi, Kadmoni, Chiti, Prizi, Rephoim, Emori, Kanani, et the Girgashi. 1 second. That's right. Vayamim, Vayavusi. I'm going to give you 10 lands. Anyway, God only gave 7. So that's why the land of Israel is called the land of the 7 nations. Because by means of refining the 7 emotions of tohu, I told you it was going to be Kabbalistic. Al Yedei mitzvahs, by means of actually doing the physical commandments, by means of this was drawn down, revealed godliness to all in all of the worlds. All the spiritual worlds, all the physical worlds, derech klal in a general, that is what's called the 7 chambers, which are not explained in Chassidut. Nevertheless, 7 spiritual chambers, the chamber of love, we said the chamber of this, all these aspects, which is not the case in the desert. In the desert was drawn down only above, in the inside. The lo bechitzoni was not drawn into the world. In other words, the Jewish people in the desert, they were like a religion. They were religion. They were a special religion, the choice religion, the best religion, the only true religion, right? The whatever you want to call it, but it was a religion. It had almost nothing to do with the world. Nothing to do with the world. Maybe let's say instead of saying heaven on earth, it was like earth and heaven. The earth that there was in the desert, it was like being in heaven. That God wanted that he should be revealed in this physical world, etc., only by means of deed. Ube'emet, and really, kadei, in order liyot hamshacha lamata, for this to be revealed below, hainu al yedei hamshacha, by means of it in the physical world, from makom elyon yoter, it had to come from a higher place than from where the Torah was given. Like it says, Keil elyon gomel chasidim tovim. Like it says, the upper level of God, that's what's able to do kindness in this world. V'gam lahafech, therefore, to transform, the opposite. What do you mean the opposite? Not only does God want us to reveal godliness in the physical world, but exactly the opposite. Only in the physical world can be essence of God revealed. Only in the physical world can the essence of God be revealed. Sheba ma'aseh davka, only in physical action can God be revealed. In other words, what is the reason? God wants Judaism to go totally out of this category of religion. God wants that he should be revealed to everyone in the world, even people that do nothing, to reveal him. Only in this physical world, which is below God's speech, right? God created the world from speech, but the actual world, only in this physical, actual world, Yochaliot can be this revelation of the highest. Like it says, like we said before. So it's not that God wants us to do this unusual thing, walk on your hands or something like that, right? And then that's what God wants, right? Just wants to put us jump through the hoops, like I say, right? In the circus. Oh, look, a dancing bear. Wow, that's really something. That's really amazing. right? God wants us to do the same thing as a dancing bear does or something. Just God just decided to do these weird things, right? And that makes God happy. He says, no, the fact is, only in this physical world can we really reach the essence of God. Only in the physical world. It's not an unusual thing, a dancing bear. That's what nature is supposed to be. Nature is supposed to be revealing. Bears are not supposed to dance. People are not supposed to walk on their hands. God is, yes, supposed to be revealed in this world. And only in this physical world can the essence of God be revealed. It's impossible to reveal by means of speech or anything. I mean, just to go back to my example that I gave, right? Let's say that a composer, he writes this beautiful piece, right? A beautiful piece of music. And people that really understand music can look at it and say, wow, this is just amazing. This is just a big genius. But he doesn't want it to be appreciated only by great musicians. He wants it, even the simplest person on the street to hear this music and say, wow, that is really something. Maybe he doesn't even understand it. Maybe he doesn't even understand the piece. That is just beautiful music. He wants it to come through in a physical way. The same thing God. God wants his essence to be appreciated in the world by everyone. Even the animals. It says that the animals in Noah's Ark, they had a little taste of what it was in the world to come. Therefore, the lions were calm. They didn't eat up the giraffes and etc. And this will be explained more, God willing, tomorrow. How deed is the main thing. Let's now go to stop the share.